Okay. Man, I was going to ask you guys something and I totally forgot what it was. Mm, well, all the next round of NPCs is just Adacor's relatives, so I
Atticor
mean,
has enough hot relatives as it is.
yeah, you've met Melodora. She's a 10 easily. Um, you don't know how hot the rest of them are. Not that you're going to be meeting them. Okay.
I can't be rated on the NPC scale.
That's true. Antimony cannot be rated on the NPC scale. Correct. Okay, just a second. I have to move to a different spot.
Session 24. You know what that means. Molly was well on his way to giving his last gasp by now.
Oh no.
Maybe not an actual play time. We don't usually play for 5 hours. I'm gonna open a box. I think we're just muted. I was opening a box of crackers, so.
Oh, thank God. Okay. I was like, is Discord just muting everyone?
All right, sorry, I'm ready to go. Um, why is everything muted for me?
We were just muted.
We're just moving around and eating soup. Okay. Okay, so yeah, last time we played, you guys were questioned by the Watchmaster of Visayas Teal. You didn't really tell him anything in particular that he didn't already know. You went to a student bar and listened to some Visayas Teal students gossip about the attack, but it didn't really provide you with any additional information either. Then you went back to Melidora's house. She wasn't back yet, so you just went and hung out in Adakora's childhood bedroom and discussed what you're going to do next, which was a long, awkward discussion. But eventually you came back out into the house. Melidor was back, and she asked you to decide who was going to go with her and Adakora to his grandparents' house tonight. Antimony agreed to go, and Ophelia and Sahar decided not to. So they will be investigating the crime scene because Ophelia asked Ayun for a little bit of advice, and Ayun said that there was more information to be gleaned from that general area if you looked hard enough. Okay, so who wants to go first?
We can go first. Let's party with the grandparents.
Yeah, sure.
Do I have to dress up? Do my
Man.
grandparents expect me to dress up?
Probably not. You don't want to look awful or anything, but it's a casual dinner.
I'll clean up because we did spend a couple hours in county jail.
I mean, you were just in the waiting room. Yeah, you guys can clean up a little bit, put on your cleanest clothing that you have.
I'll shave. I probably haven't shaved in a while.
Probably not, no.
Yeah.
Unless you've been shaving on the road.
No. Too much effort.
Yeah, Antimony, you can wear whatever. If you have stuff to wear, you can. You could also probably borrow clothes from Kalina, who is about your size. Melidor is a bit taller than you, so her stuff might not fit. But
Yeah, I have no idea what clothes I have in my in my
yeah,
stuff.
you can decide. It doesn't matter. Oh God. Oh no. Wow. But yeah, just like clean, casual clothing is definitely acceptable for this event. Just, wash your hair or whatever. I forgot to send you my final, most updated list of Adakor's relatives.
Oh boy.
So I'm gonna send it to you right now because it's
Okay.
just so you have it. I should have done this earlier today. Let's see. I have to take some stuff out though.
Spoilery information.
Maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking on the way there, I'm like asking Antimony, do you want me to try to tell you the names of all of my cousins that I remember? Or
Give me the greatest hits, like the people who will most likely try to talk to me.
Okay. So I try to do that. I don't have the list in front of me anymore. Or I have the old list. Okay, there it is.
Okay, sorry, I was just editing it a little bit.
So I tell Antimony about Despina and Solon, my mom's parents, and her older sister Metanira, and her husband, like us. And then I'm probably a little fuzzy on my older cousins. Just a little bit. I remember Nefeli. I did not remember her husband's name. Like she's married to some dude. Um, and she has a daughter who I've never met. And my other cousin, Lysander.
Hmm.
So that's the basic. That's probably who will be there.
Right.
Yep.
Do I get the
It's
impression that you like these people?
You get the impression that I am trying to remember people I have not
Mhm.
seen in a very long time.
Right.
because when was the last time? It was 10 years ago ish, was the last time
Yeah.
you visited in person, and you may not have seen them when you were here.
Yeah, it's been a while, and it's been even longer since I lived here. So
Yeah, of course. Okay, and as you both know, Taito has no surviving relatives.
yeah. So I'm introducing you to no one who you are related to.
Yes.
Okay, Melodora had to leave again to go like wrap up some things before she could like take actual time off work. So Kalina is going to walk with you to your grandparents' house.
Okay.
Yeah, she looks pretty calm about the whole thing. She's probably met them since I think Melodora told you they'd been together for like 3 years or something. So
Yeah.
couple years, and they like just moved in together recently, which is a big step.
Yes.
Basically 3 days. Hmm. Yeah, Melodora is just like that. I think she moves pretty quickly in relationships by Elven standards.
Sorry, I have to actually read some of these descriptions.
That's totally fine. I
Real
should
quick.
have I totally should have sent them earlier. That is my bad.
Okay, I've read it.
Okay, good. My favorite description is the baby.
It's a very cute
A
baby.
very cute baby. Okay, so yeah, you guys and you walk. It's starting to get a little darker. But it's a nice evening. It's of course warm enough because of the heated streets. It's not like uncomfortable to be outdoors. And there are lights on in the houses. It's very pleasant, very peaceful, despite everything that happened earlier today. And yeah, it's a familiar walk to you. It looks like your grandparents live in the same place that they did when you were growing up. Um, which is it's a pretty typical Briseis Teal style house. It's part of it is on the ground, and then there's a little upper area, kind of up in one of the trees.
Mm.
It's a little bit bigger than the one in your mom's house. It's got like maybe 2 or 3 rooms up there. But yeah, it's a similar layout. Yeah, as you approach it, you start to just sort of remember moments from your childhood, times that you came here to hang out with your grandparents.
Get away from my parents.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, they were very chill. You could pretty much just come to their house whenever and hang out, and they would give you snacks,
Hell yes.
show you whatever they were working on. Your grandpa would help you. He would like give you fighting tips if you wanted, stuff like that. But yeah, there's lights on inside. Looks like there's definitely people home. And Kalina will just walk up and knock on the door. Sorry, I thought you sent me a message, but it was just you pinning it. So I went to read it. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, and the person who opens the door is Metanira, your mother's older sister. She looks pretty similar to Melodora. She has kind of a different hairstyle. Uh, it's much shorter. It's still got like braids, but they're kind of shoulder length, and they have little beads on the ends, like ceramic beads.
Mm.
And she just sort of is exclaiming over all of you. She hugs Kalina and ushers everybody in, and she's like, Adakora, it's been so long.
You know
And she
it.
gives you a big hug.
Yeah. I give hugs. Hugs I'm comfortable with. I introduce Antimony because
Your
I feel
family
like
is
that would be less
yeah.
awkward than making her explain herself. This is my sister Antimony,
Yes.
the whole deal.
Yeah, your mother's family is pretty physically affectionate. They like hugs. Um, but yeah, Metanira is just like, oh, you're Taito's daughter.
Yep, that's me.
That's wonderful. Melidor didn't come with you, did she?
She's well, it's a little busy.
I thought she might be. You said we could expect her at some point. Do you think that's likely, or was she just telling me that so that I would stop bothering her about it?
Who's to say? I did not insight check her about that, so I don't know.
Kalina's like, I think she'll be here at some point. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I think she really is going to try to be here.
I'm sure she'd rather be here.
Yes, definitely, says Kalina. Well, I hope she can. It sounds like she was there for all of that business today. All right, come on. Everyone is through here. So you guys are in kind of a little hallway. It's similar to the front entrance area of Melodora's house. There's like a kitchen sort of off it. But there's the kitchen is kind of too small to fit uh, this entire family group. So you guys go upstairs, or yeah, up the stairs into the loft area, where the biggest room up there, which is kind of the center room, has been all cleared out, and there's a big table. And yeah, all of your mother's extended family that you remember are sitting around it.
Uh,
They don't seem to have started eating, but there's the food is out. People are pouring drinks and stuff. They're getting ready to eat.
I
And you
assume
guys,
they've left seats for us.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think someone went and told them how many people to expect.
Right.
That yeah, they didn't leave like an unknown number of seats. They have like 4 extra seats open or whatever.
Okay.
And they're
Well,
probably what?
I was gonna say I'll go up to wherever my grandparents are sitting and greet them.
Okay.
Do the old grandparent is sitting down and you hug them anyway. Move.
Yep. No, your grandmother stands up. She like comes to say hi to you. She is she's quite an old elf. Like she's visibly like a little bit middle-aged, not as old as say Elusis or the other members of the Ring of Three. But her hair is graying a little bit. It's very short. It's just sort of like a grayish dark brown, like very short curly hairstyle, very low maintenance. And yeah, she looks about the same as she did the last time you saw her, because elves. But yeah, she stands up and gives you a big hug. It's so good to see you.
You too. You've been taking care of yourself.
Thank you, young man.
Now, where's the baby?
Oh,
I
of
say out
course, you don't want to say hello to us old people.
loud. I want to say hello to the old people, but I have met you before.
Okay, yeah, she looks around, and your cousin Nepheli heard that. She's kind of walking around the table, holding the baby. Yeah, she's a 6-month-old baby.
The
Very
baby.
cute. Yeah, Nepheli is like, here, do you want to hold her? Her name is Thalia.
Yes.
She just ate,
Yes.
so she should be calm.
Well, that's good.
Calm
I don't
as
know if I'm
she
actually good with babies.
as she ever is. Yeah, I don't know if you've held a baby since Antimony was a baby.
I was good with Antimony, I think.
You were probably good. Yeah. It's been a little while since your baby handling days, but you kind of remember what to do. Yeah, Thalia is she's very cute. She's very like alert. I don't really know what 6-month-olds can do, but I know they're like moving around and holding their heads up and babbling and stuff. So
Yeah. I make lots of nonsense noises. The baby.
she loves that. Loves it. If
I
there's
don't give her a rat
anything
because I don't want her to swallow it.
good. He really has. So has your father. So that's also
They've never
Yeah.
aged.
yep. Yeah, your mom has visibly aged. Your father not so much. What's wrong with me?
Right.
Oh my god. If there's anything dangling off of your clothing, she's gonna pull on it.
Yeah.
In a very baby way. At some point, Nefeli takes the baby back. She kind of gives you like a just like a up and down look.
I wasn't gonna steal her.
I didn't think you were. You look good. Have you looks like you've been doing well for yourself.
You know, I keep busy.
I'll be honest, I have no idea what you're up to, what you've been up to since you left the university.
Oh, wow. Well, right now I'm at the Cobalt Soul.
That's the library with the monks.
Yep. Yeah. Not a monk, but researching and recently field missions. That's why I'm here, actually. And I tell a little bit about Eleni and
Okay.
the mission.
Yeah, Nefeli Nefeli looks impressed. She's like, I didn't know you were interested in scholarly research to that extent. Yeah, you recall Nefeli was always kind of she has like very big sister energy. Um very sort of like protective of the younger kids and like always the one to be like, "Hey, don't go there. Don't climb that. That's dangerous."
Yeah. There was plenty of opportunity to say that to me.
Oh yeah, you were yeah, she was like always yelling at you when you were a little kid because you were always doing dangerous shit.
Yeah, I'm like, well,
Um,
I wasn't interested in it when I was 25, but it's been 100 years. So,
and this is your sister.
in the flesh.
It's very nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too.
And what are you doing?
Well, recently I've I've been at the Cobalt Soul with Adakora, just kind of freelancing a little.
Freelancing as a researcher?
Well, I don't know, what would you call me? I guess I guess field work? Is that what Hanakora said? Like, what are we calling it? I go on adventures for money.
Well, it
Jack of
sounds
all trades.
very interesting. Yes, you must get into a lot of different situations. Did you go to school anywhere in particular?
Um, well, I'm sort of a bit of this and that. I'm like thinking I'm not telling these people that I was at the Soldiers Academy.
Oh, wait.
Um, okay. Yeah, I mean, I was um this a little bit of this and that, but mostly I've done engineering.
Really? Well, you'll have to talk to my husband then. He's an architect.
Oh.
I also go,
Um,
oh, because I forgot it.
she kind of looks at you, Adakor, and she's like,
It's been
"You."
You should know this.
yeah.
I suppose it's been a long time since
Oh,
you met Eridanos.
yeah, you'll have to show the crab we found. Bet that would be a big hit with Thalia.
Oh.
The crab. She's like,
The
what?
crab.
A crab?
It's yeah, it's something. It's a little
Did you bring the crab?
No, I think we left the crab at the house.
Oh well. Yeah, she calls her husband over. He is very tall, very quiet, but he seems nice. This is kind of what you remembered about him, Adakora.
Yeah.
But yeah, he kind of asks. He just like asks Antimony, what sort of things she studied.
Yes. I talk about my sort of interests in various different kinds of mechanical things. Probably mention like the mining stuff that I was interested in.
Okay, yeah, he starts talking a little bit about like um it's like stuff that's maybe a little boring, but you can tell that he's very interested in it. It's like supply chains and like building, like what building materials they have access to and how there's not much metal around here or it's like not easy to find.
Right.
So they mostly build with wood and some stone, but they also kind of have to limit stone because they don't cut down that many trees, so they can't have a big quarry, like shit like
Mhm.
that.
Some city planning, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I learn a lot about the infrastructure of the Steel.
hmm Yeah, he's an architect. He designs buildings and stuff, but he definitely like works with civil engineers or whatever.
Yeah.
So he knows some stuff about city planning for sure.
Designed any buildings in the city that we've seen.
Uh, well, I don't think anyone in Visayas Teal cares how big the shrubs are. This place is just giant trees mostly. They probably get into arguments about like how closely they should integrate things into nature and like should they seek to like not move any trees or like do like a minimal thing, it's there's a lot of debates about like how much to respect the trees and how much to like adjust them a little bit, cut off a branch to make room for a building or whatever. That's the kind of debates they have in Passaic steel architecture.
Do you think that the Teal has like a whole department of people who are like bonsai artists and they just like move the tree branches?
They might. Even they probably have druids who do a little bit of that.
That's true, yeah.
Let's see who else you. Yeah, at some point, Adakore, your grandfather, who is still sitting down next to your on the other side of your grandmother, kind of clears his throat and like looks over at you meaningfully. It's like, come say hello to me. That kind of a look. He just like gives you a little.
I go over. I reluctantly leave the baby if I can extract myself.
Okay, yeah, Nephili will take the baby. She's like, yeah, you gotta go say hi to Grandpa. Yeah, Solon is about the same age as Despina. His hair is also getting a little gray. He has it in like some kind of ponytail, like a very short, curly ponytail. And he has some like kind of strange scarring on his face. It's like it's like a weird combination of like chicken pox scars and like acid burns. It's not quite either one.
Mm.
Um, but it's just kind of on one side of his face and like down his neck. He's always looked like this as long as you've known him. It's sort of the outward effects of the injury that he got during the fall of Malaismere.
Mhm.
And he's always been he can like get around fine, but his lungs were damaged during the fall of Malaismere, so he can't like do as much physical activity as he used to.
Mhm.
But he seems to be holding up pretty well. Yeah, he gives you a chair hug.
Yeah. We know the chair hug.
Oh yeah. Well, how are you?
Can't complain. And yourself?
Oh, the same as always.
How soon till I can get out the knives and show you a couple of new tricks?
I was just about to ask if you've been keeping your skills up.
I have.
Sounds like you're some kind of adventuring scholar now.
I like that. That's a good, yeah. That's a good word for it.
So you do get a chance to practice your fighting skills in your new line of work.
I do. We ran into some giant spiders on the road, actually. So still winding down with
Really?
that one. Yeah, I give him the adventure version of the trip here.
Oh, good. Yeah, he's impressed. He's like, all right. Yeah, as I recall, you got a little bit rusty during your university years, but
Who said that?
it was your mother. Don't tell her I told you that.
Rusty. I'm not rusty.
Not anymore. Well, introduce me to your sister.
Hey, Antimony!
I extricate myself from the Feli's husband.
Okay, wait. Oh, I should post all the names because Anna has them, but Izzy does not. Sorry. Okay.
Mystery people.
Uh, yeah, you come around and you see um, the old man. He's a little bit alarming looking in the way I described, but he seems fine for the most part. It's just kind of it looks pretty intense superficially, but yeah,
Mhm.
he's like smiling.
Yes, I will go over.
Antimony, Grandpa, Antimony.
Well, how old are you?
Oh God, how old am I?
A baby.
An infant.
And yeah. Yeah, did I say I was like 24? Is that what my age is?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're
Um,
24, 25.
yeah.
I think you're 24. I have it somewhere, but
Yeah. Okay. I'm 24, which
yes, you are.
probably doesn't sound very impressive in elven years. But
Yeah. He is impressed, but not because of how old you are. He's like, well, it really is different for humans, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, I mean, I've
You
my
don't look any younger than 100.
Yeah, I mean, Atacora's looked basically the same age for my entire life, so
Oh, that must be strange.
it is a little, yeah.
Strange from both directions.
Yeah, he asks you about your parents, all the same stuff everybody's been asking you.
Yeah.
When we finally sit down, I'm like gonna whisper to Timmy, like, you should just tell them a different thing every time, and then they can tell their stories later.
Yeah, at some point, Metanira is like, all right, everyone sit down. The food's going to get cold. Melidora is just going to have to take whatever we've got left over.
Poor Melodora.
But yeah, you guys, they probably left 4 open seats in a row for you guys just so that you wouldn't have to sit next to people that you didn't know. That Kalina and Antimony wouldn't have to not sit next to Melidora and or Atacora.
Right.
Kalina seems pretty comfortable though. Yeah, she's chatting and talking to Metanira mostly. They're like talking about each other's businesses and how things are going. Your aunt Metanira and her husband, yeah, Lycos is they have like a weaving workshop in their house, which they run together.
Mm-hmm.
And Kalina is, of course, a furniture maker. But yeah, the food starts to get passed around. Everyone's chatting and stuff. Your cousin Lysander waves at you across the table.
I went back in a minute.
Like, let me type the rest of the names because I got sidetracked.
Yeah. Lysander's my age, just about. Like,
He's
older.
just a little older than you. Like, how old are you again?
I'm like 125.
Okay, yeah, he's about 25 years older than you are, which isn't a ton.
Yeah.
He's like 150-ish, which I think is about how old Eleni is. So yeah, you guys and he was like kind of a chill kid. Like he didn't mind you sort of tagging along after him. You were probably more outgoing than he was, honestly, like more popular and stuff. But yeah, he was just kind of quieter and liked to be out in the woods more than anything else by himself. He liked to hunt, that sort of thing. If you had to guess, you'd think that's probably what he is still doing. Because that was his main interest when he was younger. Okay, sorry, I'm typing. Oh yeah, the baby's name is Thalia, which they told you.
Yeah.
Lysander. I think he's the last one. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's a very casual, everyone's eating and talking over each other sort of event. They'll try to talk to you guys too, but there it's like the focus is not just on the two of you. Everyone's also talking to each other about whatever.
Yeah. Anybody talking about what happened today? Curiosity.
No, not really. They seem to be avoiding that topic. Not like noticeably avoiding it, but it does not come up.
Okay.
But of course, you know at least Metanira knows about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
Anyway.
does not get referenced during this conversation or during anybody's conversations.
Grandma doesn't refer cryptically to how she was in town today and
Nope.
completed her business.
Mm-hmm. With a spell that druids can't cast. Yeah, your grandmother is also involved in like gardening and stuff. Like the agriculture in Visayas Teal is pretty small scale. Because there's so many big trees, like they just can't grow a ton because there's not a lot of sunlight in most of these areas. But there are probably some little cleared sections that have crops and stuff, and like the local druids take care of them. So she's like talking about her gardening and stuff. Yeah, it's just everyone mostly discussing their basic everyday lives. You're maybe half an hour in, half an hour since you've started eating, and you hear someone knock on the door. Amadinir gets up. That's probably your mother. I'll go let her in.
Better be my mother.
It's an
Who's anybody else?
enemy.
That's thought this.
Right. Yeah, and you hear some talking downstairs, and then a moment later, Metanira comes upstairs with Melodora. The resemblance is pretty striking. Looking at the two of them standing next to each other, Melodora is a little bit taller. But yeah, they have pretty similar faces. Your mother looks annoyed. Just her sort of like general annoyance face. But she smiles at everyone and she comes and sits down in the last empty spot, which is next to you, Adakora. She's sitting between you and Kalina. And then Antimony is on your other side.
Okay.
Well, you haven't eaten everything, I see. Melodora says to the general table.
I don't know. I think Grandpa was trying. You should have seen him.
Everyone starts passing her food, the dishes, and she gets a big plate full of food and pours herself some wine. Well, I'm done for the day.
Is it
She
one of
goes,
those somebody better ask me or nobody better ask me what my day was like?
Nobody asks her. Yeah, no one at the table asks her. Well, she also just like starts eating.
Yeah.
And the conversation kind of goes back to how it was. You see a couple of people give her like slightly worried looks,
Yeah.
but no one brings anything up yet. But yeah, no one like seems at all surprised that she got here late. So,
Yeah.
Lysander gets your attention from across the table. He's kind of like right across from you.
Mm.
So you can see him and talk to him pretty easily. He's not like on the other end of the table. You don't have to yell or anything. Yeah, he smiles. He looks a little nervous for some reason.
Okay.
But he asks, "So, how's Rexentrum?"
Well, a little chaotic right now in general. Uh,
More than usual? It seems like the kind of place that would always be chaotic. Not that I've ever been
well,
there.
a lot of mobilization with the Crown's Guard, but I tend to stay out of the politics. The Cobalt Soul doesn't really go in on that side of things.
What does the Cobalt Soul do?
Well, if only Ophelia were here.
Fuck if
If
we
Ophelia
know.
were here, she would say.
A little bit of everything.
um, I give him what I think is like the Ophelia version of the spiel,
Okay.
like the very sincere, like we seek truth and we maintain records and
Mhm. Do you mention Ioun?
yes, because I am not religious at all, but yes, they are in fact.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. He kind of nods. And it's an all right place to live.
Yeah.
No, I've never even left this city, or at least not the woods around it.
Well, it's
Was it
pretty different from here.
was it difficult adjusting when you left?
Uh, yeah, yeah, for a while.
Is that really what Ophelia thinks? I was like, I don't know if Ophelia feels that way necessarily. She might.
Ophelia thinks that I should feel that way.
Uh-huh. I mean, Ophelia doesn't have a hometown per se. Yeah, he seems to just digest this information.
Does it seem like he kind of wants to ask more?
Make an insight check.
Okay. 11.
Maybe they're not sure. He seems a little awkward, but you can't tell if it's just because he hasn't seen you in a long time and he was always a little bit awkward when he was younger, or
Yeah.
because there's like something specific on his mind. You can't really tell which it is.
Yeah.
It's not out of place enough to be like concerning.
I wanted to
It's
get out and see what it was like, and I definitely did that. Um, but there are people out there who go their whole lives without meeting someone from here, and it's a little bizarre.
how strange. Were you in town today? Out and about?
Yeah, and yes, if that's what you're asking.
He looks a little relieved and like nods. Yeah, not. Uh, I heard it was bad.
It was a complete disaster, um, but it could have been worse.
That's true, I suppose. I know you said you're not very, invested in imperial politics, but in your opinion, since you've seen a little bit more of this than I have, what do you think they're going to do? The empire, I mean.
About the attack on the Starosta?
Yeah.
Well, I imagine they'll investigate very thoroughly, and it will depend on what they find or don't find. They'll want to find something.
I just hope whatever they find, it's the truth. He kind of goes back to eating
Mm.
a little awkwardly. It's like turns his face away from you.
Yeah, I look at Antimony and just kind of raise an eyebrow.
Well, that was interesting. I don't know. I'm probably too far away to have heard the conversation, but
I mean, you're sitting next to Adakora, so you probably heard it.
oh, that's true. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, don't know what to say about that.
Yeah, I'm not asking her to say anything, just,
Just a little look.
Sibling like
Yeah.
eye communication thing. Like,
Yeah. The look between siblings at a family reunion is a very powerful thing.
Oh, yes. Next to you, you hear Malidora make a little like noise. And she kind of looks at you and looks at Lysander. You kind of think she might have also been following that conversation. Well, do you have any plans for tomorrow? She asks you and Antimony kind of quietly.
Not set in stone. I don't think we've talked at all about what we're gonna do tomorrow because we talked about what to do and reached no conclusion.
Pretty much. Oh my god. Luckily for me, Ilias has taken over this investigation. Obviously, I'm still involved, but I've spent the last hour or so getting pestered by Watchmaster Galam about my anonymous source.
That must have been annoying.
It was, but I can handle him.
Would you
Yes.
prefer not to get anonymous tips in the future?
Well, I hope you're not going to be in a situation where you have to give them to me in the future.
Is Lysander still listening?
He doesn't seem to be listening.
Hmm.
He's kind of concentrating on his food. He looks sort of wrapped up in his own thoughts. And Melidor is kind of trying to talk so that he can't really hear, just so like you and Antimony can hear.
Yeah.
He has to understand that there were people in this city who don't want to give information to the Crown's Guard. You should trust me to do my damn job.
Do you have an idea of how you're going to do it?
Well, I tried out your glass theory. We took a look at the walkway that you said you saw the person. Didn't find anything. But it's a place to start, I suppose. There were a couple of structures along that walkway that had people in them at the time, or might have had people in them. So we're sending some keepers around to talk to whoever's there and see if they saw anything else. But that's about the only lead we've got.
Hmm.
I think the wizards have some theories, but they're not sharing yet.
Wizards aren't big on sharing.
That's only Imperial wizards. The ones here are perfectly fine sharing their knowledge with our people, just because they don't want to give it all to the Cerberus Assembly.
That's not what I meant, but
Maybe they'll turn up something, or maybe I don't want to think that they're protecting someone, but it's possible. Maybe they don't want to cast suspicion on themselves. I don't know. I'm
could
not
have
going to
been
think about
them.
it for a couple of hours.
I pour her more wine.
she starts drinking it. She just like nods at you in thanks and drinks some more wine and gets some more, I don't know, bread or whatever. At some point, Lysander looks up again, and he says, Aunt Melidora. She looks up. Uh, Her mouth is a little bit full. She finished chewing. Yes? Are you all right after today? I mean, are you are you worried about what might happen? She takes another drink. She looks a little annoyed, but not like seriously, because it's her nephew. He seems genuinely freaked out. Um, she doesn't really want to talk about this, but she's willing to. Well, it could have been worse. If the Sarasta had been killed, well, we'd probably have gods know who descending on Visayas Teal right now. As it is, it seems like we can investigate this with just the people who are already here, which is something. But I don't know how it's going to affect the Righteous Brand and their recruitment efforts. Maybe this will push people away. Maybe it'll frighten them into joining up. Who knows? Lysander kind of nods. Everyone else at the table can hear this conversation, and they're all kind of listening a little bit. Some of them are trying to pretend they're not listening, but they definitely are. They're not very good at pretending. Solon is definitely just like not pretending. Like he's just kind of staring between the two of them, looking very like he's clearly invested in the conversation, but he looks kind of stern about it. Lysander, oh sorry, did you say something?
No.
Oh, okay, I think it was my echo that I heard. Lysander has kind of noticed that everyone is quieter and looking at him at least a little bit, and he gets kind of uh, his shoulders hunch a little bit. He looks a little bit more anxious. Melidora's like, "What's what's the matter? It looks like you have something on your mind."
This family is so blunt. I was gonna take him aside and ask him privately later.
Yeah, your mom is
All out of the open.
your mom is like the bluntest person you know. She's yeah, she's not a subtle person. Everyone else in the family, not everyone else in the family is as blunt as her. She's probably the worst, but like none of them are they're not like a passive aggressive bunch. They pretty much say whatever's on their minds. At least to family, where they know they can get away with it. Lysander sort of bites his lip nervously, and then he looks around at everyone and he says, "I'm going to join." And everyone kind of gets quiet. Nobody's pretending
Dead
anymore.
silence. Conversation killer.
Yep. You hear Thalia like babbling a little bit, but everybody else is totally quiet. I thought about doing it today. Obviously, I didn't get the chance, but all of this only made me more sure.
Sure of what exactly?
Sure that things are going to get worse here if we don't start playing by their rules a little bit more. They want recruits for the army and they're not going to leave until they get it, and I have to help. Melidor is kind of like looks genuinely pretty shocked.
How do his parents look?
Also shocked.
Yeah.
They just look genuinely very surprised. Melidora looks a little bit angry but also shocked. Um Nefeli just looks super concerned. Will you all stop staring at me? Melidora takes a deep breath. I understand why you might feel that way, Lysander. But you don't have to throw your life away for the Empire. No one here should have to do that. Alexander looks he looks kind of angry. You've never really seen him look angry before. He was kind of a mild mannered kid. um but yeah, he kind of looks down at the table, looks back up. I'm not throwing my life away. Oh my god. I'm good at fighting. I'll be fine. And I'm not doing it for the empire. I'm doing it for the city. If they don't get what they want, things are going to be worse here. It doesn't matter if any of you understand. I've made up my mind.
Yeah. Does my mom look like she's gonna say something else?
She looks like she's considering it, but the last thing she said like didn't have the effect that she had hoped, so she's kind of she's thinking very hard about what she's going to do next, if anything. Um, Nefeli actually talks next, and she's got a little bit of her like bossy oldest child voice, just a little. It's definitely milder than it used to be. But she says to her little brother, "You're just upset. We can talk about this. Just don't make any rash decisions." "I'm not. I've thought about this."
Man. I will uh quietly push my chair back and stand up. I'm gonna say, clearly no one else has. You wanna get some air with me?
Lysander looks surprised, but he nods.
Just give them a second, you know?
Mm,
Um, get him out of there for a minute.
okay. Yeah, he heads downstairs.
Yeah.
So God, imagine this whole exchange is taking place in Elvish. So I'm just imagining Sahar like sitting there having no idea what anyone is saying. Like,
Something in Elvish, righteous brand, something else in Elvish.
yeah.
Looks up spooked.
hmm Yeah, just sitting there while your acquaintance's family has an argument in a language you don't understand. Okay, so you follow him downstairs. Antimony, do you stay at the table or do you go with them?
Um, oh geez. I mean, I feel like considering Lysander does not really know me, it might be better to leave this one to Adakora and kind of hang out here at the table.
Okay. Yeah, totally fine. So as the two of them leave, um, everyone who is still at the table, you see them all just kind of look at each other a little bit shocked.
Yeah.
Like, what just happened? Definitely none of them expected this. Downstairs, Lysander goes outside and just like leans on the front of the house. It's pretty dark by now. It's kind of chilly, but it was very warm in that room. There were a lot of people in there.
Yeah. I I I go a few I go a little while without talking, partly because I want him to cool off a little bit, and partly because he might just come out and say something, and then I don't have to ask questions. Gonna let the silence
Okay.
really
Yeah, he
play
doesn't
with
say
her.
anything for a while either. He's not even really looking at you.
Yeah.
Well, did you bring me out here to tell me it was a bad idea?
I think you're gonna get plenty of that.
I wanted to tell them all at once so it wouldn't be drawn out.
Well, you've done that.
Yeah, there are pros and cons to both possibilities. It's not that I am afraid they won't let me. I can go if I want to. I'm an adult.
I wasn't. I had to tell my mom I was leaving and going to live with my dad. So there are worse ways to do it, but
I suppose I could have just left without telling them. That would not have gone over well, though.
you wouldn't have wanted to leave things like that.
No, I wouldn't. Knowing them, someone would come after me.
We have a couple of excellent trackers in the family.
Yep, they taught me everything I know.
What you might want to consider is whether doing this will get the thing you think it will.
Why? What other result do you think it could have?
Maybe the righteous brand gets a lot of recruits and the empire sees that as progress. They want more influence in the city. But even if that's not the case, you're joining something and you're going to change. No matter what happens here, you're going to have to deal with joining.
That's true. I just think they're going to get more influence in the city no matter what we do. It's just going to depend on how it happens.
Probably. I don't even remember the city before the Empire was here. Uh,
Neither do I.
but it's still different from out there.
Is it better out there?
Better for who?
I don't know. Regular people who are just trying to live their lives.
I don't know. I don't know about better. It's different.
I've never really wanted to join anything. I've always been happier on my own. But no one else, if no one else is going to,
I think no matter what you do, you're about to find out that your life touches a lot of other people's. And anything you do is going to affect them too. These are not things I thought about when I left.
do you regret leaving?
Well, to be clear, I didn't join an army,
I know that.
but
I was there, I remember.
I know if I hadn't left, I wouldn't know antimony. It's hard to imagine. It's just hard to imagine, but there are things I wish I'd considered,
Like what?
like that I only see my mom every 10 years. Like I didn't know the situation in the city until I got here. I had an idea, but it was still all speculation, and this was my home.
I suppose.
And sometimes when you join a cause, you don't know as much about it and what it's going to do to you as you think. I didn't know a lot about the university when I went to university. I didn't know a lot about the soul when I joined the soul. There's no really way around that, but you want to be careful about what ties you bind.
Well, I'm pretty sure knowing more about the army isn't going to make me more enthusiastic about it. I don't have any illusions about that. I'm not excited about serving the empire or whatever. They think I don't care about this place as much as they do. My mother, my father, your mother. But I think there are things they don't see because
Yeah.
they remember what it was like before.
Mm.
Maybe it'll be that way again, maybe even in our lifetimes, but we're not going to be the ones that make the empire unravel. There's no way we could do that. There's too few of us.
Seems like someone feels a little differently.
Who do you mean?
Whoever attacked the Starosta today.
Maybe that's what they think. Maybe they're trying to frame someone. Maybe they're out for personal revenge. A lot of people hate the Starosta.
Hard to blame them for that. But whatever they do is going to have consequences for more people than that.
Of course.
That's all I'm asking you to think about, consequences.
All right. If that'll make you happy, I will think more about the consequences.
It will make me so happy.
I don't think I can go back in there. Will you just tell them that I've gone home?
If you want me to.
I do. This is. I feel bad. I shouldn't have done this while you were here. This was your night to see everyone again.
I'll see plenty. It's all right.
All right, go have fun. They can think about what I said for a little while, and I'll talk to them about it later.
Be safe on the streets. People might be restless after what happened.
I'm pretty quiet.
That is true.
He turns around and walks away. He is very quiet, like in his movements. You can tell the way he does it is like similar to your mother.
Mm.
He probably got his like stealth training from Melodora.
Sneaky little rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will watch him go and then rejoin the party and give his regrets that he had to head home.
Okay. While that was all happening, Antimony, it was pretty quiet around the table. People started like murmuring to each other a little bit.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, at some point, someone asks you another question about your life. Despina's like, so Antimony, tell us all about your mother
Right. Yeah.
and what it was like growing up in a different town. You know, like none of them have ever lived in another city. So they're like, tell us about your hometown.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'll regale the uncomfortable tale with stories about Drumanlode, I suppose.
All right. Everyone seems they're like a little bit forcedly interested, but it's definitely like lightening the mood a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adakora comes back upstairs when you're in the middle of telling some story about how you got lost as a child
In a
and
mine
like
or something.
yeah in a mine. Yeah, your mom like brought you on a tour of the mine and you decided it would be fun to explore by yourself
Yeah.
and you got lost. But yeah, Adakora walks back in by himself.
We all turn to look at him kind of.
Lysandra went home. I'm sure you'll have a lot to talk about later, but
Metanira nods sadly and says, I suppose we will. Can't believe he was thinking about that for so long and didn't tell us.
He contains multitudes.
Anyway, how long are you going to be in the city?
So many times we've been in the city one day, and we've got
It's been two full days about. You got here yesterday pretty early in the morning.
okay. Yeah.
And then you spent most of yesterday here, and then you spent a night, and then it's been all of today. So this is like day 2.
Okay. And we have try to keep track of time. I have like a month, and it took us a week to get here. So, maybe another week and a half.
That's wonderful. Well, hopefully you'll get to do, I don't know, some more sightseeing. You can come over here anytime you want. Introduce us to your other friends. Doesn't have to be dinner or anything. They can just come over and say hello if they feel like it.
I'll
That's
try.
yeah, your grandmother is saying that. It's like, just bring them over. We'll have snacks.
I will tempt them with snacks.
It was so nice whenever you brought all of your friends over. Yeah, okay, sorry we have been away from Ophelia for so long. Gonna switch back.
You guys can keep talking.
Oh my god. Okay, what is your plan, Ophelia? Sahar is pretty much just along for the ride here. She is coming with you because she doesn't want to sit by herself in Atakora's mom's house, and she doesn't want to wander around town by herself because she feels awkward.
I had an hour and 37 minutes to think about what I wanted to do, and I didn't think about what I wanted to do.
Oh my god. Okay. It's getting to be evening when the other 3 set out for the dinner. The sun is kind of starting to set.
I have the goggles, which will maybe help me in seeing around. I don't remember what the plan was last session. I think it was like to start at the point where the person was seen and then investigate that road and then investigate all the points that someone could have seen the person to cast greater invisibility.
Yep, that sounds about right to me.
And avoid people who ask questions, because I don't want to get asked questions.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Sahar does kind of the same thing she did at the event today. She leaves all of her armor behind, but she puts on her big cloak. She straps her sword to her back and puts the big cloak over it to kind of hide it.
I'll leave the mace behind because I'm not threatening. I'm just a person.
You're just a small little person.
Yeah, I'm just a suspicious human in this world of elves. Doing nothing suspicious.
Yeah, there are humans around town. It's not super crazy. It's like weird that you're this far, that you're this deep in the city. That's the weirdest part. The humans who live here don't wander in this far typically, except for like the guards.
Right.
But yeah, you definitely don't look threatening.
Right. I'm not threatening. I'm quite harmless, actually.
Mm-hmm.
How many, like, pathways are there that we can see from, like, where it is?
If you head to the back to like the central area
Yeah.
where you were earlier in the day, it's pretty quiet out here. There's the sort of like magical lights that are hanging in the trees around this public area are starting to be lit. There are still guards here, both branches of the guard in Besaist Heel.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not like actively patrolling so much anymore. They're just like more standing guard than you saw last time.
Are they,
when you
like,
came.
guarding the podium, or?
They're just, some of them are there. They're just kind of like evenly spaced out around the area. And there's not a ton of ordinary foot traffic through here. It's not completely empty of pedestrians, but it's not as busy as it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yesterday? Did it happen yesterday?
No, yesterday before it happened. When you guys
Oh.
walked through yesterday.
I see.
But yeah, nobody like bothers you when you just hang out in the square. And the walkways aren't blocked. You can get up there.
Mm-hmm. And are there, like, if it was like stories in a building, how many would there be?
Of walkways?
Yeah, like
I
levels.
think there's, yeah. I don't think there are a ton of levels, maybe 2 at most.
Okay.
And the second levels, so I think there's kind of one level of major walkways that are like all connected to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of the buildings that start on those walkways like have second levels that you can climb up to when you're in the building, but there's not like a second tier of walkways necessarily. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is kind of a hub as well because there are a lot of important buildings around here. So the area, the like clear area in the center where the meeting took place, there aren't any walkways directly over it.
Mm-hmm.
They're just kind of around the edges. And then those walkways, like, so there's kind of a circle-ish, it's not like a perfect circle, but there's a circle-ish shape of walkways around this open area up in the trees. And then those have other ones branching off of them going in various directions.
Okay.
And there are buildings on the upper level around here too.
Mm-hmm.
I think, let's see. They're probably more public buildings than anything else. Some of them are upper levels to, God, what was up here? There's an upper level to the Watchkeepers, like, headquarters. There is an area that's, like, part of the council building, which is the building that the podium is outside of. There's like a second smaller lecture hall right above the big lecture hall. And then there are some like shops and things too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there aren't really people living. It's not like residential houses
Right.
in this particular circle. If you went in a little bit deeper, you would get to those. But yeah, right around here, not so many houses.
Are they like upper walkways? Are they like would they kind of function as extra audience space if there was like a really big gathering?
They could. You didn't really see them being used like that
Right.
yesterday, at least. Oh, I'm yawning. Because yeah, it was weird that Atakora saw someone up there. There weren't like a lot of people hanging out up there.
Right.
That any of you noticed. But I mean, you can see things pretty well from that high up. You have a good view, and you remember the speaker's voice was like magically amplified. So you'd be able to hear what they were saying from up here too. But it seems to be more for walking and less for hanging out. People are probably discouraged from like congregating on these walkways because they're fairly narrow, and if you fall off, it's bad.
Okay. I'll probably start by scouring the circle walkways.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm looking for.
Just make an investigation check.
Okay.
Let's see what you find. I
Can
don't think Sahar has any relevant stats, but I'm gonna check.
She can help me for advantage.
What were you saying a second ago? Sorry.
I was just looking at my spells for things I could do. Can I guide myself?
Sure.
Okay. Every minute I'm just like, Ayun, please help me. Oh. Well, that's not great. 12.
Okay, was that with advantage? Because
No.
Sahara's gonna help you.
Okay. I will roll it again. 12 and then less than 12.
Oh no. Okay. Okay, yeah, you guys kind of start out, you both go to the spot that's like about where Atakora saw the person, like where he found the glass and stuff. And you guys just kind of head in opposite directions around the sort of rough circle, searching as you go. You don't really find anything out of the ordinary. But you pass, and it looks like there's been foot traffic up here since then. Like these walkways are pretty clean. You think they're probably maintained magically or something like that, because it wouldn't be very cool if people were like sweeping these and just like sending dirt down on the people below. But you know, there's some debris on here. There's some traces of footprints. There's like fallen leaves, stuff like that. The most of the trees here are pines and other evergreens, but there are some trees with leaves that are falling. And yeah, you can't really pick anything out that way, just because there's been too many people up here in the hours between the attack. You do see, so yeah, as you go by sort of the official buildings, and they're closed for the most part. The lecture hall is closed. The little upper level of the council building is closed. But you see there are a couple of shops around here that seem to be still open in like the sort of last little bit of daylight. So you don't know. Maybe these people were here in their stores when everything went down. Maybe they weren't. But yeah, you see two shops, kind of in different parts of the ring, that are still open, at least for the next little while. You think they're probably going to close when it's dark.
Right. Can I guess like what they are?
Yeah, there's signs outside that you can read.
Uh-huh.
Yep. One of them is a jewelry shop. Yeah, advertising handmade jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is like a fancy kind of store.
Just fancy?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm trying to think of a fancy thing that people sell. I didn't make up these
Oh.
stores beforehand. I did a bad job prepping.
it's okay.
One of them is a
Fancy bags, fancy canes, fancy glass vials, which have no relevance at all to the broken.
no glass. No, it's like a leather shop, not like a sexy kind, but you know they make fancy leather goods, like bags and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, lots of bags.
I should go back and get Adakora so he can go in the shop and ask.
Yeah, but then you'd have to go to his grandparents' house to get him,
I know.
and you'd have to talk to someone there,
Yeah.
and they'd all be like, "Adakora, who's your friend?"
No. Are these... where are they in relation to the... wherever Adakora pointed to for the person?
The jewelry shop is closer. It's not right on it, but it's like maybe 50 feet away.
Mhm.
And then the other one is kind of on the other side. Not quite opposite from the jewelry, almost opposite. But yeah, you and Sahar meet in the middle on the other side, and she's like, I didn't see anything. What about you?
I didn't see anything. You'd think Ayun would tell me that. Well, okay, she did say whoa. She did not say
She
just
said-
wheel.
Mostly wheel, yeah.
Like,
there's the chance, kid.
So there doesn't seem to be anything here. I think maybe we should go in to the shops and see if someone has anything to say. Are you social at all, Sahar?
I mean, I had friends.
Are you able to persuasively ask questions to people we don't know?
I've never really tried. I'll be honest with you.
Okay. Me neither. This is gonna be great. Oh, okay.
I I mean, we just have to ask them if they saw anything weird, right? Like, that's why we're doing this.
Yeah,
Right?
but like they're gonna. What if they're like, are you like a Crown's Guard? Like, why do I have to tell anything to you? Like, you're just being weird right now.
I mean, do you want to tell them you're from the Cobalt Soul? Do you think that would have any weight with these people?
No. I think they'd be like, oh, good, another Exandrian government thing here to fuck up our business and get their nose into our shit.
I mean, you guys are only sort of government.
Yeah, but I don't know
right?
if that matters to people.
I mean, doesn't seem like the people here think anything bad about the Cobalt Soul. They mostly just don't really know what it is.
That's true.
I mean, I don't think that telling them we're Crown's Guard, it might make them talk, but I don't think it's going to make them like us.
Yeah.
Also, no offense, but you don't really look like you could be a Crown's Guard. Plus, neither of us have uniforms.
That's true. I think Antimony can disguise, but she's not here because we're so smart and we decided to strike out on our own. Or I'm so smart because you kind of just came along.
I mean,
okay.
I wasn't gonna go to that party.
You don't like parties or whatever?
Parties are fine. I just don't want them to have to speak common in front of me for my sake.
I forget that that's a thing that is an obstacle for you.
Yep, it sure is. Look, if I was at a party with my family and we had one random person we barely knew who didn't speak Orc, it would be annoying.
That's true. Well,
if it was a friend, that's something else, but I mean...
You're just like a stranger.
Some mercenary you met in the woods?
Yeah. Though you seem to be alright.
Thanks.
I was kind of ready to label you an enemy forever.
For what? Saving your friend's life?
Yeah, for like randomly showing up. People don't just like randomly show up on the street. Nevertheless, a street that has like no like town near it for several hours.
I mean, you were also wandering around the woods.
We had a purpose.
So bad about that.
When we asked if you had a purpose, you were just like, I'm wandering. We were like, where are you going? And you were like, If you asked us, we were, well, you might have asked us, I don't remember, but we were like, we're going to Besaeus Teal for reasons like escorting, and then what's-her-face probably was like, yeah, I'm doing this and this and this, and I've learned so much about Rexentrum, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what she did, yeah.
Alright, I guess we should... God. Okay.
Alright, so what are we gonna tell these people? Not that we're Cobalt Soul. Well, I'm not. Not that you're Cobalt Soul. Not that we're Crown's Guard. We can't pretend to be elf guards, because we're not elves.
Maybe we just ask.
Special investigators? Maybe we just ask.
This is so hard. I don't want to do this. Okay. Yeah. I feel like...
I've never tried to solve a crime before, so...
Me, not... Well, I guess we have tried, but it's very difficult when you don't have people who like to talk nearby.
Did you succeed before?
Solving crimes?
Yeah.
I think so.
Track record.
It's pretty good. We did one for sure. And then one kind of like, nah. Technically for sure.
Well, what did you tell people when you solved those crimes?
That we were from the Cobalt Soul.
Okay. Yeah, it probably hits differently in other parts of the Empire, huh?
Yeah. And when we're like expected to be there, it's a different thing. But if we're just like poking our nose into everything.
Yeah. Well, you're right. It would help to have Adapora here. At least he's an elf.
Yeah. And he doesn't care about talking about shit. He's like cool and collected, and he like knows what to say, even though it sometimes takes him a bit to say it.
Okay, well, we have to do something.
Yeah.
So why don't we just go into the store
Okay.
and just ask them what they were doing yesterday at the time of the thing, and if they saw anything strange.
Like earlier today? Not yesterday?
Yeah, at the thing, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
See if they
Okay.
saw whoever turned invisible. They saw him running away.
Okay.
And if they ask why we want to know, we can just say we are we are special investigators hired to look into this as a neutral party. That sounds good, right?
It sounds pretty good, but I don't think it's maybe well, we're not hired. We're just looking
That's true.
to help maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we can say that we're special investigators looking into this at the request of the Watchkeepers. I mean, that's sort of true, right?
Guess so.
We're giving information to Adapora's mother.
Yes.
In
We
theory.
are. Thinking about this isn't helping us at all. Oh my god, okay, I'm just gonna go to the fancy shop.
Okay, if we have to, we'll drop her name. Hopefully we don't have to do that, because I don't know if they'll believe us.
I've forgotten her name, so...
Melodora?
Yes, exactly, yes.
It will be sort of true.
Yes, okay.
We are helping her, probably, sort of.
Yes.
Okay, so which shop do you head for first? The leather goods or jewelry?
I think we're closest to the leather store at the moment, because we were kind of like meeting on the opposite side.
Yep, yeah, that's the one you guys are closest to. And then the jewelry store was closer to, yeah, your starting point.
Mm-hmm.
Which was where Adapora saw the person for a second.
Okay.
Okay, I just need to take a note quickly. Okay, yeah. So you head into this store. It is, it's pretty small. It's very well lit with magical lights. There's sort of a warm light. And the place is pretty packed with things. There's all sorts of different kinds of leather bags, little like belt pouches, backpacks, sort of messenger bag style things. There's little wrist bags. There's some saddlebags for horses. There's also belts and leather like straps for things. Like straps to hold your quiver of arrows, shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's all very very beautifully made, and like it's got like designs, pressed into it or burned into it, stuff like that. And as you walk in, someone hurries around from behind a shelf where they were like moving stuff around. Oh, they look a little surprised to see the two of you. Strange as you are around here. The shopkeeper sputters a little bit, and she's an elven woman. It's hard to tell how old she is. If she was a human, you'd say maybe she was 32-ish.
So probably like 700 years old.
Probably not 700. That's like coming up on the end of an elf's lifespan. But yeah, she kind of looks at you two and then switches to common. Her common is pretty heavily accented, but you can still understand her. You have, you're used to hearing all sorts of accents in Rexentrum. Says, hello. What can I interest you in today? Are you looking for anything in particular?
We I see we didn't come in here for for the merchandise at first, though. I do see those little wrist bags there, and I think they're great, and I would like to come back and see if there is one. I know it's late. I don't know when you're closing.
About half an hour, probably.
Okay.
I mean, I have time to show you things still.
Okay. We were actually curious to. We wanted to ask if if you were around at the time of the whole thing today.
The whole thing?
There was like a speech going on at the what time was that?
It was about noon that it started.
At about noon.
Yes, that. I was in my shop. I wasn't down there.
Right.
So I didn't really see what happened.
Right. I imagine given the excitement, it might be difficult to remember, but was it busy around that time for you? Were there many people around? Do you recall? Here?
I mean, completely empty. It was a very slow afternoon.
Huh.
Honestly, you're the first customers I've had since, I don't know, 11 a.m. I think everybody just cleared out of the area after what happened to the Starosta, which is perfectly understandable.
Right. You didn't want to clear out too, or you just gotta stick around?
Wanted to keep the shop open, just in case.
It's very admirable. I would have closed, but I'm not a smart businesswoman, so. Okay, so nobody around at all? Was there anybody? Is there windows on like the doors or anything?
Yeah, there's not on the door, but there are 2 windows on like the wall that faces out over the square.
Do you remember if there was anybody who, if it was a slow day and if you were like watching outside for customers, if there was anybody you thought might have entered but like just went past?
I wasn't really watching outside. I was just sort of taking the time to organize some displays.
Mm-hmm. Well,
oh. Well, and then I heard, screaming, and then I ran outside.
Right. And then, was there anybody around from that point, like on the walkways at all? I don't know if the Grounds Guard have already asked you, but...
Well, they were up around here an awful lot.
The Grounds Guard?
Yes, after everything happened.
Right.
At some point, a bunch of them came up and ran past. They didn't ask me anything, but they did search my shop.
That's kind of rude of them.
They asked me if I'd seen anything, and I said, anything strange, and I said, no, except for all the screaming.
Right.
And then they searched my shop, but they didn't find anything because there's not really anywhere to hide in here. It's a shop.
Right. Okay. And did they run in a particular direction, or was it just like willy-nilly, find the culprit, sort of dashing?
They seemed to think they would find something up here.
Okay.
Although I don't know what exactly they were looking for.
Did they double back a few times? Like as they were running past, I suppose.
Yes.
Okay.
And they went down, some of the side walkways and everything. I don't think they found what they were looking for, though.
No, probably. Well, I don't know. I don't know what happened. It's just nice to try to help, But anyway, if there was nothing, okay, what is the general price range of items in this store?
Man, I don't know how much anything costs ever. I shouldn't make up stores. Okay. Let's see.
And do you deal with magical items as well, or is it just leather?
Oh, just leather.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a crafts person, but there are people in the city that you could take things to be enchanted if you wanted. I think it's pretty expensive, but
Right.
I mean, I can recommend people to you. I've definitely had customers buy things from me and then have them enchanted before.
Sure, that would be good. I don't know what I'm looking for, but you never know when you might need something.
I mean, you said you were curious about the wrist bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are like they're little pouches basically with like a little wrist, a loop that you can put your wrist through. There's a name for that kind of bag, and I don't remember what it is.
Like a. I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know, but they're those little like they're kind of round and they cinch closed at the top.
A wristlet?
That type of bag. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, she says those are about 3 gold each.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Are you? I will definitely come back, I think. But it is late, and I did want to ask the other store on here. I think a jewelry store or something. I did want to ask them something as well. Are you open tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. When is the earliest?
Tomorrow I'm opening at 8.
Okay. Awesome. And do you have any, well, given the sheer amount of academia in here, I would guess so, but like items for holding books and stuff?
Oh, I mean, she kind of walks around. She shows you a display of like basically messenger bags.
Okay.
But they're like leather and they're very sturdy and they hold their shape pretty well. And yeah, they have like a cross shoulder strap. I mean, these would certainly hold several books. You could fit more in a backpack, I think. It depends on how many books you plan to carry around.
Right. And how much does, I pointed a random one, how much does this one cost?
This is one of the like bigger shoulder messenger bags.
Uh-huh.
This one is 10 gold.
Okay. I will purchase this one. I'll like take out the gold.
Oh.
I think I took like 50 gold or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it was definitely more than 10.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take that one, and I might come back later. It was nice meeting you. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, thank you very much for your business.
Uh-huh. We get out of there.
Yeah, she seems a little perplexed by the whole interaction. But yeah, you and Sahar hurry out.
Okay. Well, that didn't go horribly.
It went fine. She just didn't know anything.
Yes. And now I have a bag I don't know what to do with. But okay, let's go to the
She
other
seemed
one.
honest enough to me, so
Yeah. I guess I could have been suspicious a little bit more. But
well, I hope this other shop owner is willing to talk as this one.
you just jinxed us, Sahar. Why would you say that?
Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm glad you bought something. I don't have any money. And I felt bad
yeah.
for her.
Do you want this?
I don't have any books.
Well, you can put other stuff in it. You could put, like, I don't know, a pine cone.
I already have a bag. It's fine for now.
Okay. I just have a bag now. Maybe I'll give it to Adokura. He'll know what to do with it. Okay. Let's go to the fucking the
Jewelry
jeweler.
store.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the jewelry store it's about the same size as the other one. And it is similarly, there's only one person in here. A male elf. He looks a little older than the other shopkeeper. But yeah, the jewelry in here it's mostly like just sort of smooth gems rather than faceted ones.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be kind of the style in Visayas Teal. But yeah, a lot of like smooth gems in silver and gold settings as like pendants and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Some as earrings. Just a lot of different colorful stones. The man looks like he's kind of starting to clear up to close the store. But he looks at both of you as you enter and kind of squints at you a little bit, like he's not sure what to make of you. But then he gets his like customer service face back on. And he's like, yes, can I help you?
We were wondering if you have any, I'm sure you were already asked this, but if there was any information that you had regarding the going-ons around noon-ish, the whole screaming and the whatnot.
His eyes kind of narrow again. And who are you? What's your interest in this? I've already told the Crown's Guard and the Watchkeepers everything I know. Which isn't much.
We are a third party just trying to help. We're like aligned with the watch. The Bisaeus Teal ones. The watchmakers.
The watchkeepers.
Yes, those ones.
A human and a half-orc. I find that a little hard to believe.
Why?
I've never known the watchkeepers to work with an outside party, let alone ones who aren't local.
We have our friend, he isn't with us, but he's related to one of the watchkeepers, and we're trying to help her out. We probably won't find anything, but we figured asking around a second or third time, depending on how many times you've been asked, might help jog the memory or anything like that.
So your friend, who is conveniently not here with you, is related to someone in the watchkeepers.
Yes, related to Melodora. I don't know if she has a last name. He doesn't, so...
Make a persuasion check.
I should have gone with my gut and used my divine channel divinity to give myself for proficiency in persuasion. Da-da-dum. I don't want to say.
Was
It's-
it bad?
2 minus 1.
Oh no!
Sahar, help me.
Hang on, I'm gonna roll a couple things real quick. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So this guy looks incredibly skeptical.
Uh-huh.
All of your sort of you don't seem very familiar with the information that you're giving. You're kind of stumbling over it a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, he looks thoroughly unconvinced and a bit annoyed. And he says, "Look, I've already talked to the Oathkeepers. Like I said, if I think of anything else, I know where to find them. Now, if you're not going to buy anything, I would appreciate if you left. I'm going to close up soon."
The Oathkeepers or the Watchkeepers?
Sorry, the Watchkeepers. Did I say, what are the Oathkeepers? God, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's probably something from something else. Okay, whatever. I meant Watchkeepers. I'm tired.
No worries. If we buy something, will you let us stick around?
Yes, but I still won't answer your questions.
Okay. What looks the cheapest in here?
There are some really tiny little pendants. They're just like, it's like a very small polished stone, like a little round stone. They're in various colors. And they have a little, like, silver claw thing at the top holding them.
Okay.
They're very little, so you think they're probably not that expensive.
Mm-hmm.
As you're kind of going through the necklaces, you see Sahar. She looks at you. She looks at the man. She kind of takes a deep breath and squares her shoulders. And then she just sort of charges the guy and pins him to the back wall. And she's a little bit taller than him and a lot more muscular. He's just a dude who makes jewelry. And she gets real close and kind of bares her tusks and growls. Look, I know you're lying. And if you're lying to us, I bet you didn't tell the Watchkeepers or the Crown's Guard the truth either. And she's gonna make an intimidation check.
Dang. We're gonna get fucking arrested for intimidation purposes.
She rolled pretty good. She rolled a 16. Yeah, I had her roll an insight check earlier, and she has a +0, but she rolled really high, so... let's see.
Can,
Okay, yeah. She intimidates this guy successfully. He looks terrified. Nothing like this has ever happened to him before. He has no idea what to do.
Nothing like this has ever happened to me before.
He's just sort of, and Sahar's like not even, she's not holding him very hard, like nothing that would injure him really, but like she's, just her sort of leaning on him is enough to pin him there. And he's also so scared that he's just not moving. But yeah, she's definitely going more for the scare than like actually causing this guy any harm. And he starts sort of babbling in Elvish. And you can understand what he's saying.
Mm-hmm. When she does this, would I be able to try and use the sort of distraction to cast another detect thoughts?
You can try it, yeah.
Okay.
He's pretty distracted.
Okay. Should I, like, I'm trying to do it in a way that he doesn't realize. Is this...
Well,
Should
what
I
is
stealth?
this is your feat, right?
It is, but I've already used it once, so I can just cast it as a second level.
Oh, okay. And does it say anything in the description about it taking components if you use a slot?
Yeah, it's all. No, it doesn't use it, but it is verbal, somatic, and material.
Okay, so if you use a spell slot or if you're using the feat, you have all those things apply, or?
I think so. Let me see. It doesn't use the spell slot if you use the feat. Yeah, it just says without expending a spell slot.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so you still have components and things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he seems pretty thoroughly distracted by Sahar.
Okay. I will...
why don't you, just make a stealth check, just for fun.
God, okay. I'm scared of this dice. I'm gonna use a different one. I have +1 stealth, so this is gonna be good.
All right.
12. Not
okay. Yeah.
It's not 2.
He's not looking at you.
Okay. And it's like all gonna be focused on this guy for like a minute. But not probing deeper because I don't really care. I don't like that he'll know if I probe deeper.
Okay. Okay, so you're doing service thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, and you can, as you do this, you can sort of hear him saying stuff in Elvish. He's almost talking too fast for you to understand him.
Mhm.
And Zahara's just sort of like, I don't know what you're saying. Like she's trying to get him to speak it in common because she can't understand him.
Right.
And she sort of looks at you to be like, what's he saying? But then she realizes you're casting a spell, so she stops. And just sort of holds him there and growls and hopes he doesn't notice what's happening. She's starting to look a little bit panicked, but is trying to hide it. Yeah, you probe his surface thoughts. He's scared. He's like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Like, that's kind of what's going through his mind. He's like, I don't know what's happening. Who are these people? Why? What do they want? What do they want with, like, why are they invested in this thing? Why are foreigners invested in this? Are they spies from the Empire? What's going on? And he's also thinking, I've been saying. He's also thinking, this is also kind of, it's all sort of mixed in together and it's a little confusing.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also like, oh fuck, they're gonna be so mad at me. Like, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry that I'm telling this crazy woman the things. Kind of, like, he seems to be sort of mentally apologizing to someone for what he is about to do / doing.
Okay. Is he, like, what is he saying in person, in, like, Elvish or whatever?
Okay. Yeah, Sahara has gotten him to talk a little slower.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still speaking Elvish. He's like too panicked to speak in common. So she's like, "What's he saying?" And he says, let's see. It's like, all right, you're right. I saw someone.
I'll repeat it to Sahar, and then I'll be like,
yeah,
yeah. Was it the one who disappeared? The one who vanished? Someone else?
Yes, the one who vanished. Oh, I saw them walk right past the shop. They were wearing a cloak. I didn't see their face. But I watched them from inside the shop, and I watched them stop right over there and then disappear. And then I saw some glass just fall out of nowhere onto the walkway. And I heard footsteps running in the opposite direction from me.
Which way was that?
He points. It's, let's see. If you go out of the shop, it's to the right of you. If you're like facing into the square. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So the spot that Adakora saw the person was like 50 feet to the right of this shop door.
Uh-huh. And then it's still more to the right?
Well, that's the direction he ran in.
Okay.
Was that way. Or that's the direction the footsteps went. They didn't come back past the door of the shop.
Oh, so they just like kept going?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I heard someone else say something.
Say what?
I don't know. It wasn't real words. It was a spell, maybe? I don't know what it meant.
Is this before or after the screaming?
Before. It was coming from somewhere above me.
And what's above? Is that part of your store?
Just the roof. There's no second floor. The roof and more branches.
Okay. How truthful was the didn't see the face thing? Or just like
check.
all of it? Okay. Ba-ba-da-da-da. 14. I'm not doing well.
Okay, well, let's see what this guy can. Yeah, he seems to be telling the truth about not seeing Percy's face. He looks like too scared to not be telling the truth.
We aren't lying. It's the truth. And we aren't gonna hurt you, even though you are probably pretty spooked, and we're sorry. Well, I'm sorry.
Sahar can't understand you.
I'm saying most of this in common.
Oh, you are? Okay, great.
Yeah, because
she doesn't react to that because she's playing the scary one right now.
She is the scary one.
She is the scary one, but she's kind of, she's still very deliberately like not holding this guy hard enough to actually hurt him.
Who's gonna be mad at you for this, for telling us?
Oh, what do you mean?
You babbled it. Someone's gonna be mad at you. You're gonna be so mad.
No one. I was just panicking.
I look at Sahar.
She just growls in his face again.
See.
Okay. Her intimidation was not quite as high that time. But let's see if he rolls lower. That didn't work. Come on. No, he beat her roll. So she she snarls in his face, but he kind of seems to get a little bit of resolve back. He still looks terrified, but he says, "No, it was nothing."
Do you know who did this?
No.
Do I believe that? I don't think so.
Make an insight check.
Well, it was better. 16?
Okay, let's see. No, he is lying.
Are they going to hurt you if they find out that you've said something?
No.
That didn't sound very, There was like a tremor there. I don't really believe you. We don't... If this information makes it to people who want to figure out what happened today, us not included because we're just figuring it out for a friend, it's not gonna come from you. They're not gonna realize.
Make a persuasion check.
God.
I love to make you roll charisma things.
No, it's the worst. Okay. Oh, persuasion is -1, 17.
Wow, nice. He sort of, he still looks, I know she did a good job. He still looks scared, but it's a little bit different now. It's less panic and more just sort of like dread almost. And he says very quietly, "I'm not the one that's going to be hurt."
Someone close to you? I'll like put my hand on Sahar's forearm, I guess, or like bicep, and like she can back off if she wants.
You just want to touch her bicep.
No.
Okay, yeah, you see, do kind of like pull her away a little bit.
Yeah. Because we're not the bad guys here.
All right, she sort of scowls at him, but she puts him down and backs up.
Here, do we want to go? Do you want to? This is kind of in the open. Do you want to go into a back room? We're not leaving, so.
I'm not going to tell you anything else.
I can get Sahar to pin you back to the wall again. We want... If someone's going to get hurt, then we want to prevent that. But we can't do that, and perhaps... Well, we don't really have to involve anybody official at all, really, because nobody knows who we are or what we're doing here, though I guess we are kind of suspicious. But our elf friend isn't suspicious because he was born here. If there's someone who is going to be hurt and we can stop it, then we will do our best to. But we can't, and we'll keep prying until it gets revealed one way or another. By you or by someone else.
He looks confused, kind of by your sort of rambling speech, but he also looks trapped. He motions to Sahar, who is kind of standing by the door as if to make sure he doesn't run out of the building. And he says, "Lock the door."
He says that to Sahar?
Yeah.
Okay.
She looks at you. He's still speaking in Elvish.
Oh, yeah. He wants the door locked.
Oh, okay. Sahar locks the door. It's just like a bolt.
Okay. Are there any, like, curtains? I guess curtains would be suspicious.
Yeah, there are curtains on the store windows, and it's like about
Okay.
closing time, so it's not really going to be suspicious.
Okay. To him, I'll be like, if you close the doors, it'll look less. Or close the curtains, it'll be less. Because you're closing, right? It doesn't matter.
Yes. He goes over and closes the curtains. And he says, the back room is a little small. It's going to be cramped.
Would you rather here?
Yes.
Okay. Would
He
it...
goes in and sits down in the chair behind the counter.
Okay. Are there places for us to sit also?
No.
No? Okay, that's fine. We can
I
stand.
mean, there's the floor, there's the countertop, but there's no other chairs, just the
We
one.
sit on the counter to assert dominance? No. Is it alright if I cast a spell to detect magic here?
I suppose.
Okay. I will cast Detect Magic.
Okay. You don't see anything magical
Okay.
beyond, like, stuff that you have.
Okay.
The lamps in here are magical, actually, but...
None of them are, like, magical in a way that's not their intended use?
Nope.
Okay.
No, there's just... Most people in Visayas Teal, especially up in, like, the tree area, use magical lamps just to, like, reduce the risk of fire.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, they're just sort of like flameless glowing orbs that don't flicker or anything. But yeah, that's it.
Okay.
There doesn't seem to be anything weird in here.
Who is going to get hurt if things come out?
Look, I don't think you quite understand what I'm trying to say. No one is blackmailing me.
Mm-hmm.
Or no one is blackmailing anyone I know either. I'm protecting someone.
From?
From the Crown's Guard, from the Watchkeepers.
A Crim, the person who did the attempt?
Who else do you think?
I don't know, it could be fucking anyone. As you said, I don't know my shit around here.
Yes, them. Look, I don't know them very well, but... then I owe someone a favor. And they know these people, so I'm keeping things quiet.
Do you know what the motivations are for this event?
No. They just told me that nobody was going to die.
Well, that's kind of fucking ominous. Do you know What did I just ask? Do you know?
I didn't want to cover up for murderers. So I was told nobody would die, and no one did.
Well, they still might, depending on the reactions for today.
And
I
I'm
don't
going to have
know.
no part of that.
Would you really have no part? You're like a little butterfly who flaps its wings and then inspires great change, for good or for bad. I think it's called a butterfly effect.
He looks deeply confused by this metaphor.
Why? You don't know why. Well, did I ask that?
Yeah, you did.
So, can we just go ask them ourselves? Who was it? We're not gonna talk to watchkeepers or whatever, because we're not really affiliated with them, except for the sun, but I don't have to talk to the sun anyway.
Really? You just spent a long time trying to convince me you were affiliated with them.
Well, slightly, but we also did not tell all of them about the vanishing person we saw or the glass we picked up, which we are going to use tomorrow.
But you told some of them.
I think so. We told the mother, but I don't think she told anybody. It's hard to say. The point is, now that we know someone we can find, we don't have to say anything else.
The watchkeepers don't keep information from each other. And Melidor is a very high-ranking member. I doubt she's going to keep secrets for you.
Probably not. But well, you don't have to say anything. And I think you're kind of stuck here. You can.
So you won't say anything?
No. Maybe. I don't know. It depends on who's.
Oh my god.
Who are you protecting and why? I don't know why someone would do this unless they want to incite further bloodshed or like incur more death or like anti-Besays 2 feelings and anti-Empire feelings. This was just a stupid move overall, I think. So, like,
Look, I don't know what their end goal was. I don't even really know them, the two who actually did it. Someone asked me to turn a blind eye while they used the roof and the branches above my shop for something, and to just not say anything about it.
are they students? Are they Besays Teal wizards? Are they sorcerers? Is there like a tiny cult under here?
I don't think they're part of a cult. They're They're related to a friend of mine, and I owe him. So I said I wouldn't tell anyone that they were here. They're not... I don't know, they're not part of any cult or anything. I think they're magic users, but...
For a second, I thought you were going to say they didn't intend any harm, and I was like, what the actual fuck was that?
Whatever they're doing, it's their own agenda. I don't think they're involved with anybody else. They're not habitual criminals or anything.
Do
Not
they
that I
just
know of?
hate the Starosta?
Well, everybody hates the Starosta.
And who is the one that owes you a favor? Who? People are pretty close here, right? Like if I were to ask the elf friends we currently have who your friends are, we'd eventually find the right name, right?
Probably. Well, why don't you do that then?
I'd prefer to just ask you and get an answer. Because it's a lot easier to keep a secret when you're not asking everybody about a contact you know, about the information you know. It's going to be a little weird for a human and a half-orc to go around asking who this specific jeweler's friends are.
Well, have your elf friend do it if he's a real person.
Okay, I will. Is there anything else we want to ask Sahar?
Sahar looks a little shocked to have been addressed. Nope, not that I can think of.
Okay. We might be back, probably. I'll bring my elf friend around so that, you know he's real. And then, not that we have to get into it today, but, like, do you have anything that, like, matches these colors? I'll hold up the Cobalt Soul, like, Ioun symbol.
What colors do you imagine it being? I know blue is, like, the main...
Yeah,
is there
there's,
another
like...
Cobalt Soul color, or is it just blue?
I think it's mostly blue, but there was also the little symbol you sent. It was like a face or something.
There's a couple symbols of Ioun. I think the one, let's see. So there's the Cobalt Soul symbol that's like the cool rune thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like on the notebook, the Critical Role Cobalt Soul notebook that is merch.
Right.
And that's blue, and then like silver. The lines are silver.
Right.
So those are probably the colors. And then Ioun has a couple of different eye-based symbols.
I think we said she had like an eye-based amulet for spellcasting.
Yeah, you could pretty much decide what you wanted the amulet to be.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's still in here.
I like the symbol that's just on the...
Did I send it to you in our
I think so.
private messages?
No, I think it was
where I posted it.
in the general chat, but I like this one. It's in the
Is it the
actual
one with the
book
Oh yeah,
thing.
that's the Cobalt Soul one.
Yeah.
It's just like a slightly different version of it. There's also the one that is like just the three eyes. That's Ioun's symbol.
Right.
But
I
yeah,
think
this
that's
one is
the one
clearly
she
like
has.
based on that.
Yeah.
So, because yeah, the circles are in the same places that the eyes are. Okay, yeah, there's definitely like various blue stones.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
I just want him to suffer a little bit.
Oh no, this poor man. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, there's probably like lapis ones. Like little lapis pendants. What
Okay.
does this shit look like when it's smooth? Yeah, it's like blue and it has kind of like little white veins in it.
That looks cool.
Yeah.
And how much does this one cost?
What kind did you pick out? Like a little circle, a bigger pendant, a teardrop shape? There's all sorts of things.
A little circle, 'cause I'm not rich.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little round ball of polished lapis with a little silver like cap on the top that attaches to the chain. Uh, the 10 gold pieces.
Sounds reasonable enough to me. Is it silver chain, gold chain? Probably
It's silver chain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
there are ones with gold chains, but this one is silver.
We will take this one. I don't care about haggling, so he can just have 10 gold.
Okay.
We bought a bag for 10 gold, it's fine.
He takes the money. He looks a little shaken.
Alright, thank you. We'll probably be back, as I said. Have a safe night. Don't do anything we wouldn't do. Can we look at the roof? Or, like, go wherever you went? Well, that person went.
I didn't see them leave.
Did they just, like, climb down from the top branches?
Maybe. They probably could have climbed across to a different part of the walkway.
Okay, well,
I mean,
thank
you
you.
can go up on my roof. I'm not going to stop you.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. Have a nice night. Bye. We'll leave.
Okay. He doesn't say anything as you leave. He's just kind of sitting there, like, a little bit stunned. Okay, I'm gonna stop there because I feel like getting you groups back together again is gonna take a little while, and I don't want to go for much longer.
That's valid, yes.
Yeah.
You know, Julie, when I told you I was hoping you would get into lots of trouble, I was hoping you'd get, like, kidnapped or something. Not tell everyone that my mom is the cops and that's why you should listen to us.
It's okay. I didn't anticipate intimidation tactics being a strategy here.
Well, yeah, Sahar doesn't have a lot of... She has a specific skill set.
Yeah. All in all, that was horrible, but we found out some things.
You sure did. You sure found out a thing.
I should never go outside again alone with Sahar ever again.
Just the disaster crew.
Yeah.
out here.
It's gonna come back to Adokora and he's gonna be like, oh great. My friends suck at everything.
Or they're too good at some things.
Too good at being terrible.
Okay. Yeah, so hopefully next time we get to some stuff that I've also been planning, like you guys talking to Torkel and Hannelore.
Oh yeah.
I've been like getting ready for those conversations for like the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, just been ghosting.
Oh man.
This has just been an endless day.
It really has. You guys are
Because
gonna go to
it
bed soon, I
started-
promise.
This day
Still-
started
Too.
2 sessions